in the gentle folds of the Isle of Wight, where the village of Gatcombe nestles among emerald hills and ancient yews. The church of St. Olave stands as a quiet guardian of time. Its weathered stones, kissed by centuries of sea air, hold secrets older than the oaks that shade its graveyard. At the heart of the church lies the tomb of Edward Esther, a 14th century crusader whose oak effigy, carved with the stern grace of a warrior, gazes eternally heavenward. His story, entwined with that of a woman named Lucy Lightfoot, is one of love lost to war and memory, a tale that echoes through the ages. Rekindled in 1831 by a second Lucy, whose fate would bind her to the night in a mystery as dark as the storm that claimed her. It was 1364 when Edward Esther, a knight of Gatcombe, swore his oath to join the crusade to the Holy Land. Tall and broad-shouldered, with eyes like flint and a heart fierce with faith, Edward was the pride of his family, heir to lands that stretched to the island's chalk cliffs. But his heart was not wholly his own. Lucy Lightfoot, a woman of uncommon beauty, had claimed it. Lucy, with her auburn hair and laughter like a summer brook, was no noblewoman but the daughter of a Gatcombe miller. Her wit and spirit captivated Edward, and though their love defied convention, he vowed to make her his wife. When duty called him to the crusade, Lucy insisted on accompanying him, her courage as unyielding as his own. They sailed across the Mediterranean, a journey fraught with storms and whispers of peril. In Cyprus, a sun-drenched island of cypress trees and citadels, Edward bade Lucy remain, promising to return once Jerusalem was secured. "Wait for me," he whispered, pressing a silver locket into her hand, its clasp engraved with a rose. Lucy, tearful but resolute, settled in a coastal village, her days spent weaving and her nights gazing at the sea, the locket ever at her throat. Edward marched on to Syria, where the Crusade's brutal tides awaited. The war was merciless. In a skirmish near Damascus, a Saracen's mace struck Edward's helm, shattering his skull. He survived, but the man who awoke was a shadow of himself. His memories were a fractured mosaic, Lucy's face a fleeting ghost he could not grasp. When the crusade faltered, Edward was shipped back to Gatcombe, his wounds tended by monks, his mind a fog. He resumed his duties as lord, but Lucy's name never passed his lips. In Cyprus, Lucy waited, her hope dwindling with each passing ship. Years turned to decades, and she died alone, the locket still warm against her skin, her love unclaimed. Edward, too, passed in time, laid to rest beneath the oak effigy, his heart a locked vault of forgotten vows. Centuries later, in 1830, Gatcombe was a sleepy village, its rhythms tied to the harvest and the tides. A young girl named Lucy Lightfoot, born in nearby Bochum, stirred whispers among the villagers. At 16, she was a vision, her auburn hair a mirror of her namesake, her eyes bright with a dreamer's fire. Lucy, the blacksmith's daughter, was known for her quiet intensity, her habit of wandering the hills with a sketchbook, capturing the island's beauty in charcoal and ink. But it was her obsession with Edward Esther's tomb that set tongues wagging. Lucy first saw the effigy on a school outing to St. Olave's, her breath catching at the knight's carved features, his aquiline nose, his hands clasped over a sword, his face serene yet haunted. She returned alone, then again, riding her grey mare, Mist, to the church at dawn or dusk. She'd sit by the tomb, her fingers tracing the oak's worn grooves, her sketchbook filled with studies of Edward's face. The vicar, a kindly man named Reverend Hale, found her there one evening, lost in thought. "Why do you come, child?" he asked. Lucy's voice was soft, her eyes distant. "I love to be with him in my thoughts and dreams. He feels familiar." The villagers, superstitious and fond of tales, spun stories. Some said Lucy was touched by the old Lucy spirit, drawn to the night she'd lost. Others whispered of reincarnation, noting the shared name and uncanny resemblance in old portraits of the miller's daughter. Lucy herself spoke little of it, but her dreams were vivid. Flashes of a sunlit sea, a silver locket, a man's voice calling her name. She wore a simple pendant, a gift from her mother, and clutched it when the dreams woke her, her heart racing with a longing she could not name. June 13th, 1831, dawned clear, the air heavy with the promise of rain. Lucy rode to St. Olave's, her sketchbook tucked in her saddlebag, her mind alight with thoughts of Edward. She tethered mist to a yew and entered the church, the effigy's presence a quiet comfort. As she knelt by the tomb, a sudden darkness fell. The sky churned, clouds swallowing the sun in a rare eclipse. A gale roared through Gatcombe, rattling the church's stained glass and shaking its ancient beams. Lightning split the heavens, and the wind howled like a chorus of lost souls. When the storm passed, the village emerged to assess the damage. Mist was found wandering Gatcombe's lanes, her saddle empty, her reins tangled. A search began. Men scoured the church, women combed the hills, children peered into wells. The church was untouched, its door ajar, Lucy's sketchbook open on the floor, a half-finished drawing of Edward's face staring up. But Lucy Lightfoot was gone, vanished as if the storm had claimed her. The villagers searched for weeks, dredging the river, combing the cliffs. But no trace was found, not a footprint, not a shred of her dress. Whispers grew into legend. Some swore they'd seen a girl in white by the tomb during the storm, her hair glowing in the lightning's flash. Others claimed the eclipse had torn the veil between worlds, reuniting Lucy with her knight. Reverend Hale, troubled, recorded the event in the parish log, noting an odd detail. A faint rose-shaped mark on the effigy's chest, unseen before the storm, as if etched by unseen hands. The villagers, ever wary of Gatcombe's mysteries, began to speak of the two Lucys as one soul, bound to Edward across time, their love a thread that defied death. St. Olave's remains, its oak effigy a silent witness to the centuries. Visitors to Gatcombe, drawn by the tale, pause at the tomb, some claiming to feel a chill or hear a woman's sigh. On stormy nights, when the wind moans through the eaves, locals say a grey mare gallops the hills, riderless, and a girl's voice calls softly for a knight who cannot answer. The silver locket, if it ever existed, lies lost, perhaps buried in cypress or hidden in the church's shadows. But the story of Lucy Lightfoot, both Lucys, endures, a ballad of love unfulfilled, a mystery sealed by the storm, and a knight whose heart, carved in oak, still waits for the woman he forgot. Many thanks for treading this tale's dark path. If its chill gripped you, follow, subscribe, and comment below.